Ah, Agent One. I've been so looking forward to this moment.
Well, in that case, I'll try not to disappoint.
One of the most exciting rumors surrounding Johnny English 4 right now is the possibility that Kevin Hart could make a surprise cameo. Nothing has been officially confirmed yet, but the speculation has already caught the attention of fans because his fast-paced comedic style could create some hilarious moments alongside Rowan Atkinson's trademark physical comedy. Even though it's still just a rumor, the idea has added even more excitement to a project that is already officially moving forward. The thought of Hart briefly crossing paths with the famously accident-prone secret agent is enough to get people talking, and it shows there's already plenty of interest surrounding the next chapter before cameras have even started rolling. The biggest news, though, is that Johnny English 4 is officially happening. That comes as a pleasant surprise because for quite a while it seemed like the franchise had quietly reached the end of the road after Johnny English Strikes Again. There wasn't much news for years, so many people assumed the third movie would be the final adventure. But now, everything has changed. Reports indicate that production is expected to take place in both Malta and the United Kingdom, giving the series another opportunity to continue its unique blend of spy action and comedy. Although story details are still being kept completely secret, the fact that Working Title Films is returning as producer is another encouraging sign. Because the same studio is coming back, fans can expect the familiar style and tone that made the previous movies successful. At the same time, the fourth installment also has the opportunity to introduce fresh ideas while still staying true to what audiences enjoy most about Johnny English. It doesn't need to reinvent the formula because that formula has already worked for years, but it can certainly build on it. The road to this fourth movie wasn't exactly simple. After the release of Johnny English Strikes Again, Rowan Atkinson himself sounded uncertain about whether he would ever play the character again. During interviews, he suggested that another sequel probably wouldn't happen, although he never completely ruled it out. He famously said, "Never say never," leaving just enough room for the possibility of another adventure somewhere down the line. Looking back now, those comments make this latest announcement even more satisfying because the project has clearly found the right reason to move forward. Whatever changed behind the scenes, it seems the creative team found an idea worth revisiting. Instead of letting the franchise quietly disappear, they've decided there's still plenty of fun left in Johnny English's world. That alone is exciting because audiences have always connected with the series' unique style of humor. One of the biggest reasons these movies continue to work is because they rely much more on physical comedy than clever dialogue. Rowan Atkinson has often explained that visual comedy ages remarkably well because people everywhere understand physical reactions, awkward situations, and unexpected accidents. Language changes over time, slang comes and goes, but someone slipping into trouble or accidentally causing chaos can still make audiences laugh decades later. That approach has helped the Johnny English movies become popular with viewers all over the world. Even if someone doesn't catch every line of dialogue, they can still understand the comedy because most of the jokes are built around movement, facial expressions, and perfectly timed mishaps. It's a style that crosses language barriers naturally, so the films have always appealed to international audiences. Looking back at the previous three movies, the overall formula has stayed surprisingly consistent. Johnny English is supposed to be a professional secret agent, but he usually causes more problems than he solves. Somehow, despite making mistake after mistake, everything eventually works out in his favor. His victories often come from complete accidents instead of careful planning, and that's exactly what makes the character so entertaining. That formula started with the original Johnny English, continued through Johnny English Reborn, and remained the heart of Johnny English Strikes Again. Although each movie updated the setting to match the changing world, Johnny himself never really changed. His confidence always remained much bigger than his abilities, and because of that, every mission turned into complete chaos before somehow ending successfully. The third movie is especially important because it leaves behind several interesting story possibilities that naturally led into a fourth installment. The adventure begins after a massive cyber attack exposes the identities of MI7's active agents. With the agency suddenly short of operatives, retired spies are called back into service, including Johnny. who has settled into a much quieter life as a geography teacher. That opening already shows how the world around Johnny continues to evolve. Modern espionage depends heavily on technology, digital security, and cyber intelligence, while Johnny still approaches every mission using old-fashioned instincts and outdated methods. That contrast created some of the funniest moments in the third movie, but it also opened the door for even more stories. As Johnny investigates technology billionaire Jason Volta, nearly every step of his mission becomes a disaster. He repeatedly misunderstands situations, destroys valuable evidence, and creates new problems for everyone around him. During one memorable sequence, he accidentally attacks innocent people while trapped inside a virtual reality simulation because he completely loses track of what's real and what isn't. Even though those mistakes should ruin the mission, his unbelievable luck somehow keeps pushing him closer to success. Another storyline that could continue involves Ophelia, the Russian agent who constantly shifts her loyalties throughout the third film. Her true motivations remain somewhat mysterious by the time the credits roll. Although her part in the main story ends, there is still room to expand her role or introduce more characters connected to the international spy network she represents. The dramatic missile sequence near the end of the third movie also leaves behind some interesting possibilities. Johnny accidentally creates a situation that nearly turns into a major international disaster before everything is resolved in typical comedic fashion. The series naturally plays those moments for laughs, but they also remind audiences just how dangerous Johnny's mistakes can become. A fourth movie could easily reference those past events while keeping the same lighthearted tone fans expect. Perhaps the funniest aspect of the franchise is that Johnny almost always receives praise after causing unbelievable amounts of chaos. Despite creating many of the problems himself, he somehow ends each adventure as the hero. That running joke has become one of the defining features of the series because everyone around him somehow overlooks the destruction and focuses only on the successful outcome. That creates another entertaining setup for the fourth film. MI7 continues trusting someone who is simultaneously its biggest liability and its luckiest agent. Every time Johnny receives another important mission, audiences already know a complete disaster is probably just around the corner. But they also know he'll somehow stumble into another impossible victory before everything is over. The franchise has never tried to be a serious spy thriller. Instead, it embraces absurd situations, exaggerated action, and perfectly timed physical comedy. Because of that, Johnny English 4 doesn't need to explain every plot hole in great detail. It simply needs to acknowledge some of the lingering questions while delivering another adventure packed with entertaining mishaps and over-the-top action. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.